Hey, what's up, Instagram Live? We have Dr. Morrell here for another episode of the Mindsets podcast, Mind for Sets, which means we're really going through the ins and outs of what led people to doing exactly what they do. How do people stay consistently doing what gives them that purpose and passion? And finally, what are the little habits and tools that they use to get there, really, let's keep them consistent. So, for the next guest, this is somebody I've been tracking down, trying to get my hands on for a while now, and finally responded, and ultimately, we are bringing on Benergy. So, let's all give a big round of applause to the man himself. Benergy, Benergy, Benergy. It has been a long time, Instagram, and I cannot believe that I am back. I had a kind of a little hiatus there dealing with an injury. Dr. Morrell had reached out to me. He was like, yo man, need some of the extra fire, need some of the extra creativity, and needed me to answer some questions for the man. So, let's get it started. Let's get it popping. I'm not the one to lie. I'm not the one to beat around the bush. We're talking straight to the point. That's what Benergy is. Be the energy means that we are the final piece to everything. There's a puzzle going around. We are that final piece. Whenever we hit it, we max it out. So Dr. Morrell has said he wanted to ask me about specifically, honestly, I don't know. Let's ask him. Yo, Dr. Morrell, what do you want to talk about, dude? Well, so I believe I remember you had told me that you went and were street performing in Japan and Hawaii and San Francisco kind of thing. And we talk a lot about performance anxiety on this show. So you're doing some pretty wild things, Benergy. How do you do that? Well, first of all, why? Second of all, how? Shoot. So why and how do we be Benergy? How do we do the things that we do? So first off, the why is very important. So at the end of the day, I realized at a very early age that we have two choices. You either get to do this thing and light it up, live the absolute maximum life that you want to live. Everything that you want is on the table. All you have to do is find the creative way for you to get it. The post I made today is straight to the point. There exists in the universe a series of words and events to get you your desired outcome. Benergy is the path to that outcome. Awareness, attitude, energy, creativity, whatever it has to be, it will get done. And that's how you make crazy things, right? That's how you bring yourself to the point where you can hop out in front of hundreds of people in random countries across the world and just be balling out with it like a mad person. And people think that you're crazy, but you're really the most sane guy in the room because you're doing exactly what your heart calls you to do. But I know how you are, Dr. Morrell. You like to hear stepwise, calculated, analytical things on how to be a high-performance habit guy, blah, 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 blah. So I'll give you that. Okay, there's a method to the madness. There really is. So I would say, so if you're approaching a scene, right? Say you roll up on the scene, right? And you have your lightsaber in hand, and you need to get the people going because the crowd is sitting here like a bunch of toads on a log. And it's miserable to look at, and the only solution is to absolutely pipe this place up. So allow me to give you the Benergy vision. The glasses, they are symbolic and representative of a process that I use. So whenever I'm scoping the scene, see the potential. What could this be? If I balled out, what could this situation become? So I like to visualize things being the absolute litness, the absolute perfection, the absolute grinder, right? The thing that we want. I visualize that, right? So I was like, oh my God, a little tasty taste. It's gonna be a magic moment. And then I really F myself up and put a lot of pressure on me by doing the exact opposite, the other direction, where I visualize the worst of it. Why? Because I've seen that life before, wouldn't recommend it. But ultimately, you say you walk into a trash situation, party sucks, music blows, and you want to go home, you got a tummy ache, and you're stuck there, whatever. And there's no running. It's like, oh my God, how much worse could this situation be? What is the worst that this moment could be if I'm stuck in line or whatever, or in traffic? Like, we say like, oh, it's bad. It could be a hell of a lot worse. So I visualize the absolute worst of it all. Boom, clarity. Here's the litness. Here's the shitness. Here's my decision to shut up and do this one. So I grab the little master switch in my brain and I go, woof. It's time to fully engage on what I know is absolutely right, and that will get people these experiences that we all desperately need. It's a personal thing. I do it for the people. That's the other pressure that I have, is you have to give the people what they want. Everybody wants the litness. Everybody wants to be the energy. Everybody else, they want to dance. They don't have to think about wanting to dance, right? Ain't that right, Dr. Morrell? Benergy, you're crazy. And I like it. So, coming from my standpoint, talking a lot about, performance anxiety and discovering people's purpose. Your purpose is, I would say it's pretty spot on, is that it's a lot about, serving other people. And honestly, you didn't even really talk about yourself at all. It was all about, making the environment better and, maxing out like your potential on that path to serve. So like, first of all, huge props to you for being that way. Later on, I would like to ask you, like, what's that do for you specifically? Like, Benergy has a lot to do with like the situation and them, but what does being Benergy do for Benergy? So yeah, I'll ask you that here in a second. And the second question is, the second rebuttal I have is like, first of all, you really jumped in front of hundreds of people with a lightsaber and a boombox? Like that was your solution? That's your final piece to the puzzle that unlocks all the things? And you pulled that off? Whatever you're doing must be working, because I know you've told me in private that like people actually respond to this very well and that they throw money at you or whatever. So that's like incredible. So I think the one thing I want to break down is, whenever we're approaching from like the literature side of things, whenever we're approaching performance anxiety, one of the best things that we can do is, first of all, center ourselves, which means to like find your center, connect to your breath, bring yourself back to reality. Second thing that Benergy was really getting at was visualization. So people who suffer from performance anxiety, I'm going to reverb a little bit, go backwards, rewind, is that performance anxiety actually stems from, we cannot stay focused on one thing. If we were focused on the performance, we would be focused on it, not these other things that cause the anxiety, such as failure, such as fear of looking dumb, or that you didn't practice enough or whatever. If we fully focus and immerse into it, then we're going to be good. It's literally just me and the ball. There's no crowd, there's no cameras, there's none of that. Simply me and the flow. That's an example. So by bringing attention to our breath, meditating, collecting ourselves, we are honing our focus, and then we can go forth and then put out the performance that we want to perform, and then put that out there for the people. So some people are just like stupid, swaggy, and don't have that problem, and mad confident. So shout out to y'all. And the third thing that you were getting at was that the visualization process is very, very powerful for you. And that's exactly aligned with addressing performance anxiety and helping people compete at the highest level is that we tend to view ourselves in a negative manner. We then project that out onto society and onto other people, like they're going to be judgmental and persecutory, but really that's just how we are. Anyways, whenever we flip that script in our mind, we switch that lens out and view people as positive, look at them like they're friends, like we're here to entertain them and to help them in some form or fashion, and just simply just make them laugh, and that they want that for us, then all of a sudden, like, I'm not performing to some angry mob that hates me. I'm performing to a bunch of friends and family that are like, hey bro, like, you got it, bro, you got it. And that really helps with that fear of persecution and judgment. And I think the last thing that Benergy had got to was being in the moment fully, like full immersion, which means like, okay, so say you have the series of words or events in the universe exists and you're on the way to it. Okay, that's cool. How do you actually, how do you proceed through that? How do you get to that goal without like making yourself hiccup or like get a fear of failure? And ultimately what it is just like, it's almost kind of self-sacrificial, where you're like, all right, you have to let go of the outcome. So this is the bizarre part about it, is that we want the Olympic gold, right? But if we are focused on it and not us, that's called chasing the gold. It's a real phenomena. It will absolutely destroy your performance. You literally have to let it go and just get out there and do the thing real time and sacrifice the outcome and start moving forward, right? So yeah, big things coming, Benergy. So I guess the final question for us, or not really the final question, is so you street performed in Japan, you street performed in Hawaii, you have videos of that all over your page, and you essentially do these things really just kind of fuel other people. But the one big question I had for you was like, what do those experiences like playing flute in airports and what do those do for you specifically? Specifically doing live production, doing work with people, flute, dance, capoeira, martial arts, literally Be the Energy is a very susceptible experience. So what does a water molecule do when it's around other water molecules is it becomes like that water molecule. It's going to pick up that energy, right? So from the Benergy side of things, I'm simply becoming that energy, right? So if the situation's whack, that sucks, right? It's trash. When we visualize it as something much better, and we can experience that in our minds a little bit and taste it, like I said, a little tasty taste, then all of a sudden we know that that is possible for the environment and for the other people. And then when they're up here, flamed up, now we're talking, we're the vibe, we're the energy, and we get to ride that wave, and I get to be a part of that too. And that is called becoming the energy. That is called dancing without having to try, when it moves through you, because the energy of the environment and the people and the place pull you up. And the world needs more of that, and it needs more people to lead that way. So all I do is recognize that, help the good people along that path by being a professional icebreaker. It is on my resume, my curriculum vitae. It is if I had a jersey, it would say professional icebreaker, because I'm willing to look stupid. I'm willing to look a fool on the dance floor. I'm willing to make a stupid joke. I'm willing to fart in public. Whatever it takes to make people comfortable with being themselves, Benergy is willing to do. I've seen this play out in real life. I'll never forget when I first started doing this stuff in Japan. I was street performing in Kyoto, and I remember distinctly, like, Japan, I love that place to death, but man, these people are sad, right? It's a collective culture, and they really don't focus too much on their individual expression, so they're kind of like all locked up. And I was like going down the streets, I was hitting my moves, I was doing my thing, I was having a blasty blast. And I remember seeing this old, just like, she had literally all symptoms of, she just looked bad, right? Just sad, you know. It looked like she hadn't smiled in years. She was like stuck like this, like a fish or something. Anyways, so ultimately, I literally walked up to her, and mind you, I'm like literally 3 times this person's size, she's like right here. And I looked at her, and I had my light staff, and it was all blinky. And I handed it to her, and I put it in her hands. And her face, from this contorted like wallflower, has never smiled before. Like I saw it like literally crack. I saw this like switch flip in her brain that was going from like pain to like fun. And all of a sudden, like everybody in the crowd that was walking around, it was by the subway, and everybody that was the train's over there. But anyways, everyone's eyes had went on her, and the music was playing. And this old lady started dancing around with the glow stick, and everyone was like piping it up. And I literally saw a shift in her where her face be like lit up, and I literally saw that pain just be removed from her, be like replaced with like bam. And I was just forever destroyed by that experience, because like, yo, this person hadn't experienced joy in who knows how long, right? To the point where it was becoming her face and body and emotion, like what she was exuding. And all of a sudden, boom, light switch, something different. And that's when it flipped in me, because as soon as it flipped in her, it flipped in me. Whenever she went up, I went up with her, and I was like, we're partying, old weird lady, let's go. So then I made it a mission to essentially mirror that for everybody, as I elevate them, experience what they're experiencing, mirror back. And then boom, 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 everything is lit up. And I've seen it happen in dance floors and bars and rooms, giving presentations, meeting new people, cashiers. If you're willing to see like what this little situation needs to be a little bit cooler or like way cooler, and then be like, hey, that exists. If I can dream it, it's real, right? If I can see it, that means that it is real. I just have to find that series of actions or events that's going to get me there, shut up about how I feel about it, and then go do whatever it takes to get there or be square. We talked about that. We ain't being square. So, Dr. Morrell, bro, can you give us like doctor words to explain that, bro? Actually, yes, I can. So, it sounds like what you're doing is a like highly modified version of visualization, mindfulness, and then taking advantage of like the mirror neuron system in people to really like reflect what they're experiencing, huh? Okay, let me break that down a little bit, because it's a lot. That's a mouthful, a lot of big words. So essentially, like rabid mindfulness, right? So like being hyper aware of your, actions, where you are in time and space, and then being able to create a plan on how to get to a place, and then being able to fully immerse in the moment, right? So that allows you to be able to see what needs to happen in real time, feel it. Like if it's a push, you pull. If it's a pull, you push. And all of a sudden you're right where you need to be. And that's called dance, right? That's called movement. That's called the ebb and flow of life, riding the wave. So that's what the goal is with mindfulness. And the cool thing about mindfulness, believe it or not, is that it actually modifies your epigenetics. And there's research articles to prove that. I'll slap it down here. I did a presentation on that in medical school and also in residency. The other cool thing about mindfulness training is it changes the structure of your brain. So it's something that you practice that will eventually become who you are as a person, where you're always in that present moment and you're aware of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and can redirect yourself appropriately. So first of all, you get an A+ grade from me on the mindfulness ability. The second thing I would say is pretty impressive is the visualization ability, where essentially we all have this ability. This is the weird thing about consciousness, is like, say you look at a situation, right? You can look at it, you can appraise what's going on, and even though we all tend to think, oh, we can't do anything about it, if you ask yourself the question, how could I make this worse? Like a million things come to mind. Like a million things. How could I make this situation where I could literally crash my car? throw my phone, be rude to this person, tell them they suck, tell me I suck. There's a billion different ways, right? And we can visualize that. That's what causes a lot of the anxiety. So if you want to take it the opposite way, which is like the pursuit of happiness, it's like, okay, well, if I ask myself how I can make this worse, that's super relevant. If I ask myself how I can make it better, I just have never asked myself that question before. So now this is opening this whole little realm of possibilities instead of limitations that I'm very interested in, as are you, Benergy. So so being able to visualize means to be able to kind of project yourself into the future a little bit, think about what does this situation exactly need, and then going to do that. So visualization, that's also an excellent practice. And finally, the thing that it seems like you're doing is taking advantage of something that was I learned back in medical school. It's called the mirror neuron system. So essentially within humans, this is what makes us distinct from all other organisms, is we have this ability to see things, and as we're seeing them, we quite literally experience them for our own. So like when you watch a movie, like everyone's seen The Lion King, right? So when Mufasa dies, we literally feel that. Like I am visualizing like Mufasa dying, like my dad dying, and being like, oh my God, I'm not okay. Disney, you're wrong for it. I'm just kidding. It hits that hole. It's really, anyways. Ultimately what it is we can monkey see, monkey do is actually backed by like a neurological underpinning. So whenever we see people doing things, it quite literally programs us to do it. So like when I go like this in a conversation, or I stand like this, or I stand like this, or whatever, you are more likely to inhabit that space. Human beings are meant to mirror off of each other, right? So if we're all mirroring off of each other, that means that we have massive potential to learn rapidly and share rapidly without even having to say anything, just by doing it, first of all. So that's good. If it's good, that's really bad if it's really bad. So it really puts a lot on ownership for people to recognize that they're both the mirror to someone else and also their mirror. So it's a calling to take care of your business and to help them take care of theirs, and to most importantly, not just talk it, but walk it. And that's how we mirror up as a society. That's how cultures rapidly spread, is that we share these concepts through walking it, talking it, being it, demonstrating it. Monkey see, monkey do, so be the littest monkey that you can be, I suppose, right? So yeah, taking advantage of mindfulness, visualization, and then really what's the word here? The calling, the responsibility to be that energy is what you do. Anything you want to add, dude? Sir? You are a nerd, bro. Oh, do you do anything besides read books? Whew. You talk about it, but do you be about it, Dr. Morrell? I'm just kidding, man. I know you're out there helping people. It's my job to challenge folks. Sure, bro. If you want to call it all that, sure, whatever. I'm just out there doing it, being it. I don't have to think about it, right? You have to think about it. I don't have to do that. That's of course a practiced thing. So I want to provide hope to the good people that, even though maybe you're not where you want to be just yet, that as Dr. Morrell was alluding to, just because you're not there does not mean that you can't start to get there now. So when Benergy was first born, he was like a caterpillar, right? So we can only get to, we'll call it confidence for other people, right? States of confidence. And it's a huge thing that I try to speak to people about, is that you're not always going to be max confidence. You're not always going to be as lit and fired up and motivated as you can and will be. So there are states that we get to that are those states of optimal experience, of flow, of being the energy. So what we really do is we're like, oh, we hit that flow, we hit that confidence, and we absolutely rock it for 30 minutes. And then we're back down here. And then maybe a couple days go by, whatever, then we hit it again and whatever. Like, okay, well, now we have to start thinking, well, what got us there? What were the practices that got us from normalcy, or whatever, this apathy, to this absolute litness? What were the steps that made that energy so high, that confidence so high? For your boy, it was a very simple understanding. Is just look at stuff, man. Be a scientist, right? If you sit on your, first of all, personal responsibility, dog. If you don't do it, ain't nobody gonna do it. That's how that works. So if you see something that sucks, guess what the solution is? You, dog. Yes, you, fam. Huh. So it's very simple. Don't be a scrub. Don't accept a lower standard. Like, the world sucks. Are you okay with that? No. Put on your superhero cape or your little glasses or whatever you gotta do and go ball out. And know that, like, you're lifting other people up along the way, yeah? Okay, anyways, back to the original point. To answer some of Dr. Morrell's ridiculous rebuttals and questions. So yeah, state confidence, right? We get there, we taste it, okay, that's cool, we fall from it. We get there, we taste it a little more, maybe longer, and we fall from it. So really what we do is we watch these cycles, right? And first of all, they're not cycles like this. They're really spirals that are going up, and you get better every time you do it. You get into state confidence, state flow, and that slowly becomes trait confidence, trait flow, which means you stay there for longer and longer until eventually you just live there. That's just who you are. You get to walk around that way. It's incredible. Like, that's like Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing. Or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, by observing yourself, what gets you to those places, right? What gets you to states of optimum confidence and performance? For me and for a majority of human beings, I've noticed, it's all connected to focus. Are you able to let go of the bull crap in your life and allow yourself this moment, this opportunity, and then to believe in yourself to be able to do these things? How does that happen? So we practice. So we get there, we execute it once. Oh yeah, we had that confidence. Okay, next time we don't execute, and we let the negativity get us down, and we drop, and then we lose it. And then we fester over how much we messed up for a couple of days, and we feel trash until we realize, hey, wait a minute, what got me up that last time? It was me shutting up about how I feel about it and bawling out, and all of a sudden, boom, do that again. Confidence. Here we are, we living it, we doing it, we're dancing, we're singing, we're playing music, we're doing all the things. It's incredible. So then that clicks again. Oh, wait a minute. So that voice that keeps getting me down, that negative voice, that's the one that keeps killing my confidence. Okay, so I guess I better pay close attention to that one. It's killing me. So next time I'm on that way up again, here I am about to hit it. Here's that little voice in the back of my ear. Benergy, don't do it. Benergy, the people are going to laugh at you. They're going to care about how you think or feel. And I literally hear it. I'm like, Brett. And I look at it. I'm like, haha, dude. Too bad I have this thing called awareness and consciousness, because I know I've already experienced you negativity. You ain't getting me today. So all I do is be aware of that, delegate it, and then I delete it, and then I double down on my mission statement, which is to absolutely bring this place to a new space and place it has never been before. Ultimately, for the people at home, the take-home lessons. Okay, now I sound like Dr. Morrell. It's just ridiculous. You suck, bruh. I'm just kidding. You're cool. Keep teaching. So really, every time that we go through positive cycles, negative cycles, what do you want to call that? Up and down. Every time we get to states of we're flowing and we feel great, pay attention to what got you there. What got you to those states of feeling your absolute most radical, confident, talented, aggressive, flowy, aware. What were the steps that got you there? And for your boy, I don't wake up Benergy. That don't happen. It's a state that I achieve until I can make that permanence. What helps me get there is paying attention to my sleep cycle, getting that perfect. Also remembering that the energy is more powerful than sleep, though. If you need it, you can always go deeper. Same thing for nutrition. I take an excellent care about what I eat. I got to. That's part of what's becoming the energy. If you eat shitty energy, you're gonna put out shitty energy. That's just like science-y kind of stuff to me. It makes sense. It's not even, it's just literal. Exercise. Like Benergy lifts often. He does. Actually 4 times a week, minimum 45 minutes. Recommendations, and making sure I always stay creative and flowing in my body helps me get out there and do the thing, because I've done it in practice a million times. That's the other part of confidence, is you have to prove it, right? I done proved that to myself one-on-one in the gym. I'm not worried about nothing. Handstands, not quite backflips yet, but it's coming. One arm, capoeira owls is what they're called, but all kind of stuff. Flute one hand, it's whatever. High speed bow staff work, my favorite. Those things have come because I practiced at them, right? Which is part of the exercise portion of what we were discussing. And the last one is my relationships, like my relationships in life is that I have friends that push me. I literally have an amazing support system that literally, bro, they ask for Benergy. They will be in the background going, Benergy. I start freaking out. I'm like, it's time. It's Benergy time. And having that group of people around me helps me so much. And I would say the last thing is what we talked about earlier, meditation practice. It's literally focus training and making sure that I can zone everything else out and hone in. And I do that by like Vipassana meditation. If there's any yogis out there, really you're focusing on one object only, right? That's one version. The second version is to focus on literally everything moving around you, space, time, all these kind of things, and trying to visualize that and experience it. So you're absolutely one thing and then everything. And then finally flow, like literally flow, like practicing flow. That's a real thing, is to go get out there and do it. And I think Dr. Morrell actually has some videos of how to do that if you want to go look at that nerd or whatever. Benergy, you're crazy. And I can diagnose that. You know that, right? But I'm not going to, because you're actually right on point with a lot of things. So like we're actually in agreement. I know that I'm backing up with a lot of nerdy things that you're calling me. I don't appreciate the slight comments either, by the way. But I guess I did call you crazy. So we're even, bruh. We're even. So yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything to say. Believe it or not, me and Benergy are like we're on the same page, really, as far as the 5 pillars of health and wellness go, about getting to states of optimal performance and confidence. Is like what he said. There's a massive amounts of evidence based around all 5 of those things to get you where you want to go: sleep, exercise, social interaction, nutrition, and then finally meditation, flow, or spirituality, whatever you want to call that. And it turns out that so that's my program. That's what I do for people, is that I help them find the easiest ways to do those things, right? So people always ask, Dr. Morrell, what is it you do? I actually don't do doctor things, believe it or not. I'm simply a doctor doing not doctor things, which is weird because I still get to call myself that. I'm a coach. I'm a performance and a health coach that has a doctorate in medicine, right? I'm not doing that right now because this other stuff is way funner, way cooler, and I get to help more people and not have to worry about all the paperwork and stuff like that. So what I do is I sit down one-on-one with people and I have real conversations about, hey, you want to be this thing, right? And yet here you are, this lumpy bump on a log. And you're not so satisfied with being a lumpy bump on a log. And you really want to be this really cool thing over here, whatever it is for you. So let's take an appraisal of that. Here's lumpy bump. Here's balling out, being your best life. I shove that in your face. Okay, I shove them both in your face. And look how real this is. This is factual reality, right? If you half-ass it, you're going to be lumpy bump forever. What's that going to cost you in terms of finances, emotional taxation, and just your heart, your soul, bro? It dies whenever you're half-assing it. Versus if you're living your absolute best life despite all consequence. That feels absolutely incredible. Ask anybody who's doing that, they'll agree. So what I do is I sit down with people and I'm like, hey, all we have to do to get from this pain to this ideal life and future or pleasure, what you want to achieve, is these steps that I have laid out for you specifically in the program. That's what makes it a program. We will walk through the psychological principles of purposeful living. That's a bunch of big words that really means we're going to talk about the stuff that is actually relevant to your life, your why, your purpose, who do you work for, what do you want to become, right? And then what are the tangible steps that we can take to get there? People don't want to have those conversations. They don't like it. They're like, if anything, they're trying to avoid it. Because it's very, very, very demanding on us. And I recognize that early on. So that's the performance side of it, of my program. The health side of it is to get you the consistent energy, focus, nutrition, sleep, like relationships and support and flow to lift you up so you can have the confidence and the energy to actually address those major life-changing questions with your fullest attitude and energy. So whenever we have a maxed out human physiology optimized with nothing but literal lifestyle modifications and using bringing it out from within through those 5 pillars I had mentioned, and then we go through what is your why. What are you capable of when you're at your best? What are you capable of whenever you're living your absolute maxed life? We all have those moments of confidence and clarity and we feel like everything's flowing. Imagine if you had that all the time, what would you be capable of? Samantha, she can't wait to start. She's a beast. I appreciate you dropping some comments. We're about to get fired up. So that's another reason that I love this program, is because I get to share it with people, because this is the same program that I reflected onto myself that brought me to where I am. And ultimately it was taking some of the concepts that Benergy had talked about and applied them onto, his own self. And now he's doing it for other folks. So the spiel, if you're interested in that kind of thing or you want to hear more about it, I do all free videos. I do all my free resources. Like, I teach people how to do this stuff. I love it. Like, that's Dr. Morrell. Like, a doctor is a teacher and a healer. I am here to teach people and to help them heal themselves, really. If you go to my Facebook group, High Performance Habits for Medical Professionals and Entrepreneurs, it's in the link. Click the link. I'll drop it in the comments once this video is posted. So if you want to go there, add yourself. We'll answer the questions or whatever, and then we'll add you to the group and we'll share you with people who think this way and resources on how to do it. I literally have lectures. I literally oh my God, I don't know how to make a habit or do a thing with my life. I literally have it in a PowerPoint. If you just shut up and watch the PowerPoint and apply those methods, scientific principles on how to live a purpose life and create the habits that create the best you, it's literally there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not. Thursday, there's another lecture, and we'll be diving into one of the 5 pillars. We're going to talk about sleep because so many people have been asking me for it, to have that conversation. So, there's my spiel, y'all. Follow me at Doctor.Benergy. I'm on YouTube now. All the podcasts are uploaded. Those are flames. Those are fire. Great principles for purposeful living and high performance habits to be a better self. That's what we're all about here, and building a community that wants to help each other out. Honestly, it's been a long time, Benergy. I'm really tired. This is my 2nd podcast, so just give the people what you think is important. What's your spiel? How do people find you? All that jargon. Bro, you really gonna sit there and hype people up like that and give them knowledge and evidence and all that crap? That's beautiful. The easier thing you can do, though, is just watch Benergy. He just does it, and you just do what he does. And you can do that by following. I'll tag my own self. I.am.Benergy, Benergy. Ultimately, I don't really care about any of the publicity or none of that stuff. This is literally just me maxing out the environments, and sometimes people take pictures of that or whatever. So I just post those up. I'll throw them up there or whatever. I have somebody who manages that. And then some captions to help people do it themselves, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to do a podcast. I don't know if I'm going to be on YouTube videos or stuff. I'll leave that probably for Dr. Morrell. He's more about those calculated things. The one thing I want for people to take away from this, it's been a great interview, Dr. Morrell. You're good at this stuff. I give you that. The one takeaway I have for you, everybody out there, be the energy. And hashtag be the energy. So that way I can see the videos and then get hyped up on that energy. We talked about mirror neurons and stuff. I love it. So there's nothing I love more than to see other people being that premier energy that they want to share with the world and doing that. So if there's nothing else that you people take away from, remember, Yo, people like people who mess up. So go mess up and be cool about it, and they'll like you even more. All your fears go away, dog. It's a miracle. All right, y'all. You got any questions? You got my name, my Instagram. You got my DMs. Hit your boy up if you need a leg up or whatever. I got you. Yo, this is Benergy. I'm out, Dr. Morrell. You have a great podcast or whatever it is you do, dog. All right. Well, that was a wonderful interview. Great conclusion. I see somebody hashtagging be the energy. If you're trying to be the energy, hashtag be the energy. I'll do the same thing because honestly, I do talk about it a lot, but that dude Benergy is really the energy. So I think we can all just probably need to do what he says and max it out. So be the energy. Hey, you got it, dog. And I'm gonna add him too. At he said I.am.Benergy. All right. So there's his shout out. Yeah, well, that was intense, to be honest. Yeah, so that's my first time having that dude on the show. So I'm gonna try to hit him up because I want to talk to him some more, ask him some more questions, and see what he's up to, just periodically. So we can look forward to that. Anybody got any questions? Y'all know where to find me. But this episode of Mindsets is done, y'all. Have a great night.